Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk about truth. And that has been a huge theme of coming into my next chapter on this path of taking a leap of faith, which I've talked about. And a message that came to me actually kind of recently within this week is that your emotions, and I've been talking a lot about that, and your heart is what fuels your truth. So when we don't fully tap into our emotions, we put our masks on, we hide, which I've done for a very long time. We are not stepping into our truth. We are hiding our most precious and beautiful light that we are here on this planet to offer to all. I believe our sole purpose in life is to honor that truth, to honor that light. And when the emotions rise up in us, whatever we may be feeling, that information, that energy that it's giving us is trying to get to the truth. What is true to you? I often call this the intuitive truth. It's a little bit deeper than your intuition or just your truth. I see your intuitive truth as your essence, and your intuition is working with that intuitive truth as a compass, helping to direct it alongside those emotions. We'll often say, like, I feel that in my gut, that my gut was telling me to make that decision. My gut was telling me to answer that question. And that is really part of that information from your heart chakra, from your emotions, from your intuition that is guiding. It is the compass guiding that intuitive truth. I'm 42 years old, and for a really long time, I've worn many masks. Doesn't mean I haven't been completely myself my whole life. And I think a lot of people can resonate with this part of my story. But when I entered the school system, I got really quiet because I felt that there was a spotlight on what I was doing was not the way to do things. Like talking a lot, sharing my light. That was my intuitive truth, talking. And there was also a spotlight on things I didn't do well. And the deficit focus in schools is really problematic. And I believe I experienced a lot of that in my early years, and then worked my way through middle school and high school, being an overachiever and wanting to prove something to people instead of really finding that intuitive truth. And we do this to many of our children by putting them into these placements, these boxes, starting with a deficit focus and not a brilliance focus. And from the beginning, and I'm not saying this is everywhere because there are some really wonderful schools and systems that are doing it well, but the overall system is hiding who we are. It's facilitating that hiding and putting on masks and not fully stepping into your intuitive truth. When I got to almost 40 years old, I started my spiritual awakening and started to feel okay. I'm ready. I'm ready to start speaking this truth and holding space for others to do so. Such as when I started my podcast, The Teacher Story, and I knew many teachers had truths they wanted to tell coming out of the pandemic. We live in a world where so many people are hiding out of fear, out of competition, out of just, this is how we've been conditioned. And so it's not really anyone's fault. It's really just a systematic problem that we aren't tapping in and living in our intuitive truth. But when we finally start to say, enough is enough, I can't hide anymore, this doesn't feel good, and starting to feel the emotions that are guiding that intuitive truth, and we step in to that, step through that fear and step into that truth, it is powerful. It is scary. It is emotional. It is very difficult at times, but it is so powerful. And I've been working on that much more this past year. And my goal is to be able to help others do the same. If we could live in a world where everyone is tapping into their intuitive truth and finding their brilliance, their light, and shining that outward to the world, and we are all doing that, I think that's the earth that we want to be a part of, that type of community. So it's hard and you have to be brave, but we do this in community, and we do this with stepping through our fear and starting to share and using our voices in whatever form that looks like. Speaking, writing, art, music, all of these expressions are how we share our truths. It does not just have to be through speaking, through your voice. But if we all try to tap into that intuitive truth, that light inside of us, and feel the emotions behind it, and say, oh my gosh, that's how I want to feel. It's liberating. It is so liberating. And you feel this sense of freedom. One little step each day of just speaking or expressing that truth just a little bit more works that muscle, and it gets easier. I guess it's safe to say that many of us are tired of truths being hidden in our world. And I think more and more people are speaking up and saying, I want to see the truth. But I think in order to see it outside of us in our reality, we need to start doing it ourselves. Anything we want to see in the outside world, we need to do it within ourselves first. That is also how energy works. And I am here to support you on finding your truth, as many others I know in this community of spiritual and wellness growth. You're not doing this alone, and you will find a place of so much love and peace when you take that one little step a little bit closer to that intuitive truth, to your essence. And I believe you can do it. I love you all.